1,400 metres is the trip, headed by last year's winner, Beauty Generation. John Moore, Zach Purton, unbeaten in 5 starts so far this season. Beat the clock ahead behind him as favourite in this very race. A last start Group 1 winner over the 1,200 metres. Seasons Bloom's back with the blinkers off, first up since December. Conti, Ryan Moore will be in the saddle, who chased home Beauty Generation over the mile last time out. Little Giant was behind, beat the clock last time, finished 5th. Winner's Way finished 3rd. And Rattan, well, he was 3rd behind Conti on his last start. That was on New Year's Day. Now, as far as Chung Fry is concerned, Seasons Bloom has been the horse up there for Danny Shum, who's been freshened up. Alberto San will take the right. He'll jump from barrier 2. We've made our way across the touchscreen to have a look at the speed map for this one, Brett. Fascinating contest with the big guy, Beauty Generation, dropping back in trip. He's got the 2 John Size runners, Beat the Clock and Conti. Possibly Conti, maybe at his pet different distance, but Beauty Generation, you'll find the front surely.
I would have thought so, Andrew. Yeah, look, I think from a barrier perspective, it's probably worked out best for Beat the Clock. He's got a low gate, he can travel forward, he can just sit there and allow the runners outside of him to evolve around him. Little Giant went forward last start, we know that. I think initially what Zach Purton will probably do, I don't see outside barriers as a hindrance for Beauty Generation. We know what he's like. He can probably just stay out here for a while and then assess the situation below him and then work out when to come down, whether he can just stay out there if he wants and eventually maybe gets outside a Little Giant, or maybe eventually, as the screen had it, he crosses Little Giant. No one's going to dictate him, put it that way. Zach can just sit out there, let it all unfold. Pingwu Spark, obviously, there you can see him 1 out, 1 back. A surprise leader last start. I'd be very surprised, as would most, if they tried that again.
All right, Group 1 horses. Group 1 track work, Paul?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to focus on the main horses here. The first one being Beauty Generation, and he's just doing nice, quiet work sort of down the back straight here this morning, just ticking over nicely. The horse is going well and doing everything he has to, so nice and relaxed, and he looks good. Beat the Clock, of course, we'd likely probably start second favourite. He moves nicely as well here, 1,400 metres for him, steps up from the 1,200 metre win that he had last time. And the third horse we'll look at is Conti. We'll just show this piece again. We'll look at Conti this time. We looked at Waikuku last time. And you can see Conti, he's a nice, big, strong horse, and he's under a good hold. He wasn't pushed to go on. He's just doing what he has to do as well. They're all very fit horses, as you would expect.
All right, Beauty Generation, Conti and Beauty Only. The first ones we'll take a check on here. This is obviously a mile, but Beauty Generation won over 1,400 metres first up, won this race last year as well, so it's not too much of an inconvenience to him.
No. The big questions, I guess, are, you know, like, how he's been up for a long time. I mean, his sort of grand finals were end of November when he ran the track record, and then obviously the big one on International Day in sort of early to mid-December. So here we are, what, you know, a couple of months down the track now. He's seemingly in the morning, seems like he's going well enough. He's the fully furnished athlete now, isn't he? He's not going to get any better. I think Zach Purton's mentioned it in the press already. He doesn't have to get any better. He just has to maintain it. Coming back to 1,400, I guess, has got a question mark alongside of it, 1 or 2, but highly unlikely, you'd think.
Yeah, this is the trial, recent trial down the straight. Rattan actually trials really well. Pakistan Star wins it. We'll talk about him a little bit later on, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. You can see Beauty Generation just doing what he has to do out there. He's not really being pushed at the end of his trial. Rattan, as you mentioned, hit the line really nicely. Beauty Only is coming under a bit of a ride there, isn't he? And he is getting on a little bit in age. Did respond a little bit there. But, yeah, nice quiet trial for Beauty Generation.
Beat the Clock, definitely, and Conti to some extent have got a slight little advantage over Beauty Generation in that they can produce a really good turn of foot, a 22-2, 22-1, whereas Beauty Generation's more a 22-5, 22-8, but he can run solid sectionals all the way through and take the sting out of those others. So the 1,400 maybe is a little bit of a sort of a negative against Beauty Generation in that respect, but whatever beats him will be winning.
All right, OK. Well, let's see if anything or anyone thinks they can. Let's hear from Joe Moreira. He'll ride Beat the Clock.
Beat the Clock, Joe. Was it a tough call to go with him ahead of Conti?
Yes, because I think Conti is a very nice horse. He's done nothing wrong so far. His run the other day was pretty good too. But when you have a Group 1 winner, it's very hard to get off, and Beat the Clock has done it with me last time, so I had to stick with him. He's a very nice horse. He's been now showing his very best. He also has a very good section, so his last 400 meters was quite impressive. If he's able to produce that, we're probably going to give a nice run to the favourite, which is Beauty Generation.
You came close to beating him last year. How much better do you think is Beat the Clock 12 months on?
Well, I didn't indicate that I believe he's a better horse nowadays. We lost the same race to Beauty Generation just by a neck last year, and then he's really proven to us this time that he's gone to the other level that we think he's gone. We're probably going to be a chance to win. So yeah, I'm quite excited about the race.
Does he run out a strong 1400?
I believe so. Honestly, I believe the 1300 meters race would be a perfect distance for him, but we don't have those distances here in Hong Kong. So let's go and give it a try over 1400.
Yeah, I think I've read John Sy said something similar about the trip as well, as far as Beat the Clock is concerned. Interestingly, he's 22 pounds lighter since the last time we saw him. This is his trial, his most recent trial coming in.
It was good. It's an interesting point you make. I mean, how much of these two horses improved from last year? There was not a great deal between them last year. And in fact, last year they both weighed exactly the same on race day, whereas now Beauty Generation's got heavier and Beat the Clock has got lighter. So Beauty Generation's just built up bulk and strength. Beat the Clock still a little bit more agile and dashier. How it all unfolds on race day will be fascinating, but they're both high quality horses. We know Beauty Generation at a mile's unbeatable, but 1400 is the distance on Sunday.
And Conti, Paul, he's actually 31 pounds lighter than last time we saw him.
Yeah, he's a big horse, isn't he, Conti, anyway. And look, he hit the line nicely in this trial as well. It was a really good trial from him. And look, he's up against two good horses, and Beauty Generation Beat the Clock. But he did prove it last time. He went a really nice race behind Beauty Generation when he ran second. And he's got Ryan Moore aboard as well. So should be a really good race.
Just getting off the beaten track. How well's Elusive City going?
Yeah,
That's him winning the State. Sorry, yeah, Elusive State. He was a good horse too, Elusive City, wasn't he? But yes, potential due-by situation for him.
Absolutely. If it's a sit sprint, I think it could be dangerous, but Zach won't allow that, will he, Paul?
No, well, I'm going to get in a limb and put Beauty Generation on top to beat the Clock. Conti for third. And 50-50, I like the way he ran on over the 1200 last time. I think 1400 looks good for him. And his track work's been good recently. 1, 2, 5 and 6.
Ran third in this race 50-50 last year, wasn't that far behind them. But we know how much Beauty Generation and Beat the Clock have improved. I've gone 1 to beat 2, but I'm very interested to see where he does measure up Beat the Clock at this trip against Beauty Generation. We spoke Wednesday night, Andrew, about many years ago, the Good Barbar Sacred Kingdom match in this very race. It's not dissimilar. Beat the Clock still has a little bit to find. Beauty Generation's right there alongside of those great horses. Conti in for third. Little Giant was pretty good, I thought, last start. I don't know whether they'll roll on and take the lead, but I think he's better at 14 than 12. So 1, 2, 5, 7 and 50-50 like Paul would have been the other one potentially. Yeah,
we've all got the three big names. Ratan's my fourth pick, but some big prices. About some very nice horses in there with Beauty Generation as short as he is. Right, that's the first of the Group 1s. Next up for us, though, is the City Hong Kong Gold Cup with Exultance. Winner of the Vase on International Day. The Centenary Vase last time out from the 18 back up to 2,000 metres. Tommy Berry will jump back on board Pakistan Star. He's 1 from 1 and Glorious Forever. Can he recapture the form that saw him win on International Day as well?